The TPC Kick Off. There are some sort of familiar faces here. I'm not too sure if all of you know, but some of you do. So this is really kind of the version 2.0 of the Toy Pioneers Club. And last year we started it with around sort of 13 startups, which some of those members are here as well. And we're now sort of this version 2.0 is with 20 startups, which is amazing. And it's people that I've met through going to the fairs, through kind of introductions and being introduced to introduce. I think Sam, for example, I found out from you through Ilana at 21 Toys, who was a member, and Easy from My Family Builders was also a connection. So it's been a really nice way of sort of introducing and getting to know everyone. And as I said, the purpose of today's call really is just to sort of for everybody to start finding out a little bit more about each other, about what everyone does. And then hopefully over the coming months, sort of there'll be opportunities to get to know each other more and learn and share from each other. I think for me, I'm going to sort of sound like a broken record but the reason that I wanted to start this was because having been in the toy industry now for sort of over 10 years, I became very disillusioned in sort of like the mass market industry and sort of navigating myself working when I was previously for Primo and sort of being involved in this kind of ed tech sector and sort of really reigniting my passion for the industry and developing product that really has a benefit and a learning outcome and something with a bit of meaning behind it. And going through that journey of working within a small startup, found it it's quite difficult to sort of connect with others, like-minded people, and not being too sure where to find others that have the same values. It was always kind of this, these big shows and sort of big corporate toy world and not really finding people that sort of, I believe, shared the same values. And that was what drove me to really wanting to start the community really and a bit of a place for people to come together and hopefully learn and share from others that have a kind of like-minded approach to the industry. And I think also part of it is trying to readdress kind of what we mean by toy as well. I think toy, sometimes not everyone wants to sort of be associated as a toy, and I think part of that is maybe because of this kind of sort of the mass consumerism of the industry. But for me, a toy essentially is a tool for learning and something that's about learning through play. And I think, to me, I don't see toy as a bad word. I think it's just something that maybe just needs to try and be readdressed and repositioned. So I believe everybody that's part of this sort of, I feel, kind of exuderates those values. So what I just want to, so in terms of the way that I sort of, what I want the club to offer is, as I said, is to be somewhere for people like yourselves to come together, to share and to learn, and hopefully everybody can kind of benefit. And I'm a great believer that if everybody benefits, everybody grows, then there's a bigger opportunity to make a bit of a dent in the industry as a mass, as opposed to trying to strike it out individually alone. So what I'm sort of envisaging the club offering sort of over these initial months is really more around the community and the social aspect. So some of the sort of initiatives that I'm going to drive are something that I found worked really well on the sort of the version 1 club last year, was running sort of frequent smaller hangout sessions. So similar to this, but try and limit the numbers to around sort of 4 or 5 people to come together in a really informal way and to sort of discuss sort of themes and subjects that are relevant to everybody. So that could be something talking around, I don't know, marketing or logistics or product development or selling into retail or online, and hopefully kind of really stimulate some good discussion where everybody can kind of share. So those I thought were sort of really beneficial. Hopefully everyone that joined them did as well. The other thing I'm going to do is try and bring in sort of industry experts to run webinar sessions. So some of those that I've potentially already got lined up, just to sort of name a few names, somebody called Oliver Claxton at Tech Will Save Us. He's the head of sales there and kind of a real expert in Amazon. So I've been speaking to him over the past months about doing something with everybody. Here in the UK, somebody called Jerry, who's a safety expert consultant I've worked with, so he can, someone like that obviously has a lot of knowledge that can be shared. Someone called Lucy Gill, who's a digital user testing expert, so coming into like the research side. And then in the US, someone called Layla Nasrati, who was an ex-Toys R Us buyer and does a lot of licensing products as well, and she's got a lot of experience with helping smaller businesses get their products to market. I've compiled a longer list of people that I really want to get on board and to come and help you guys. So hopefully over these coming months, I'll be able to sort of get those sessions set up. There is a Slack channel that I will get everyone invited to. That was something that I was there last year. I'll be completely open. It wasn't something that had like a lot of lots of, hey guys, sorry, I'm doing intros still. That was so there was a Slack channel, and everybody it struggled to get a lot of engagement on it. So I probably will strip it back down from where it is at the moment before I get everyone invited. But I think it was a really good place to at least have to give community announcements, to share sort of articles, industry news, things that are of interest to everybody. So I think that would still be a good tool for that. Over time, I really want to try and build some sort of perks and benefits. So to hopefully build some partnerships with service providers that maybe can offer some sort of incentives and some benefits for you guys, and hopefully some discounts and things. And then the way that I kind of want to tie it all together is I'm aiming sort of on a monthly basis to try and get a curated newsletter out to everybody with sort of the events for that month, so everybody can sign up to join, and then any sort of news that's relevant to everybody. And then, I'm aware a lot of it is a bit, we'll see how it goes in a way. It's something that, gonna just sort of, we'll kick it off, and I'm open to feedback. So I'll probably be looking, hopefully, to get your guys' comments as well. And hopefully I want to try and build something that's of benefit to everybody, and hopefully everybody can get something out of it. So that's me kind of rambling on a little bit. So I think maybe what we'll jump to now is giving everybody the opportunity just to spend a couple of minutes just introducing yourselves and what it is that you do. I'll try and keep everybody to around 2 to 3 minutes because I'm conscious of everybody's time. And I guess the two questions I really wanted everyone to try and answer was just firstly, like, who you are, what do you do, and kind of what do you stand for? And then secondly, what do you hope to get out of a community of fellow toy pioneers? I'm going to share my screen. Give me just 1 second. Can everybody see this? Cool. Okay. So without further ado, I think Dayan, we'll start with you. This is in alphabetical order, so there's no preference here. So Dayan, do you wanna kick off?
Yes, of course. Happy to kick off. Hi everyone, I'm Dayan. I run a company called Kidesign, which I started almost 10 years ago. And we're a small and lean company with a core team. And what we do is we specialize in educational creative toys and games for kids, but also we run workshops. So we started off by running workshops across different museums and schools in London and across the UK, and then developed our own educational game called Kideville, which aims to bring 3D printing into schools, which back in the day it was very novel and not common. And then we focus more on designing toys, and our latest and flagship product is called Densters, which is a toy that helps children build dens and tents using blankets and sheets that they have at home, and these little monsters just help you attach them around the room. So that's the kind of stuff that we do, and all of the work that we do aims at developing kids' creativity and imagination and getting them to play more with their physical environment rather than just sit in front of a screen. So we were part of the initial pilot scheme of the Toy Pioneers Club, and which was really great. And I really enjoyed being part of it mainly because of the exchange of knowledge and the kind of having a space in which you can have an open conversation. You can feel it's a safe space to share even some more kind of confidential information and just exchange experiences, because that's something that I really love in the toy industry in general. When I say toy industry, I really mean toy startups that I've experienced by doing lots of shows like the Nuremberg Toy Fair and the New York Toy Fair, where there's always really positive vibe amongst the startups. So it's really great to have an official place that Ben set up where we can exchange that. So that's one of the things that I'm also most looking forward to, especially in this expanded cohort. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Very kind words. So let's go to Sam at Feltro.
Hello. So I'm Sam. I don't know if you can see my face now or if it just has that screen.
It's just the screen.
I'm hailing from Toronto, Canada. And yeah, Feltro is the product that I've created. It came about 5 years ago when I was studying industrial design at OCAD, which is a design school here in Toronto. I was looking at play and how to, basically get closer to analog play, away from the screen as well, but how to really merge the kids' play space with the adult living space. So you sort of had people living in smaller, or families living in smaller spaces, and toys sort of taking up, a lot of space, or at least giving space for toys. And so Feltro was something that would merge those spaces and could be enjoyed by both kids and adults, but that would be more about play-based education. So, yeah, I don't know. So can you see my screen? Okay, so I got a piece here, and I just wanted to show you. Oh. So basically, this is one of our newest versions, but essentially you've got magnets around the corners, and it snaps together. Oh yeah, there you go. I can see myself now. So you can make all sorts of different shapes, different structures. You can make costumes. Wear it on your head, makes all sorts of costumes really, and forts. So I've been doing this for, like I said, the last 5 years, and Feltro's really morphed in a lot of different ways. Originally, I thought it was for the home, and now we're really doing it more for libraries, and schools, and I've had all the troubles of a startup. Mainly, it's been like manufacturing costs and just figuring out a reliable manufacturer. And I'm still doing that. That's sort of an ongoing process. And I look forward to speaking more with all of you in small groups, larger groups, just to have the sort of support around overcoming these sort of barriers that you hit in all the aspects of a startup. I have a few people here who I work with, for that kind of support, but it's always great to have people all over the place. And I think this is a pretty diverse group, and I look forward to getting to know all and any of you.
Cool. Thank you, Sam. Kim.
Hello, my name is Kim. I'm in Paris. My company is called Koa Koa, which means YY in French. I launched Koa Koa 4 years ago. So we do maker kits. This is one of my products. It's a flashlight to discover electricity. So we do. So the idea is that kids build an original object to discover science and mechanics. I work with a designer in London, and yes, and I sell through subscription in France and e-commerce subscription, like a monthly box. And also, I started retail in 2 years ago. I was in Maison et Objet just a couple of days ago. Yes, so we are really inspired by the STEAM movement as well as the maker movement. Yes, we try to democratize the makers movement. Our toys are targeted to 6 to 10, and yes, and I'm really glad that this club is launching. I always thought that the best advice and interesting advice always come from other entrepreneurs. And so, I have many issues, as many of you are probably, regarding manufacturing, retailers, marketing, and so on. And I'll be glad to be an active member and share if I can help any of you with contacts in France or any kind of information. I'd be glad to,
cool.
To be part of it.
Cool.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you, Kim. Another Kim.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My company is called Learning Beautiful, and it's very simple. A basic idea is we're interested in providing toys, materials for kids starting at age 3 to learn the concepts behind computer science, but to do so with physical toys. So these are Montessori-inspired, all-natural materials to introduce things like the binary number system, patterns, image representation, programming, algorithms, Boolean logic, things like that. So we create physical materials as well as books and curriculum. We work mostly with schools and libraries and transitioning a bit into the home market at the moment. Started as a research project of mine, so it's been a company for about 2 years. And as far as the toy pioneers, I was really fortunate to meet Ben a while back ago and be involved in that first iteration. And I think, like everyone said, it's great to be in a community of like-minded people. I meet a lot of people in startups. I'm here in Boston, and it's kind of awful at times to feel like an outsider in a community that you want to be part of. So I think to create a community where we have, we're all doing really different things, but maybe have shared values and focusing on education and children and providing something beautiful and positive for the world is something we can help each other with, and I'm eager to do so. So thank you.
Thank you, Kim. So I'm going to pick up this one. So this is Living Farms that was founded by Katerina. They're based in Austria, and their product is the Hive Explorer, which is a portable smart insects farm and micro ecosystem for mealworms. So it's got with educational value. And the idea is it empowers you to recycle your food waste into fertilizer and proteins. Food waste should be avoided in the first place, but the food that is unavoidably wasted is currently either composted or put into landfills, which cost money, energy, and lots of other resources. So they explore topics surrounding the life stages of the mealworms and related topics like metamorphosis, photosynthesis of plants. And for them, there's very much obviously an educational focus, but there's also they're also pushing a consumer focus. I know sort of Katrina was they did Kickstarter. I think this was also a research project, although I'm not 100% sure. And I know from talking to Katerina in the past sort of couple of months, they're in this developmental phase at the moment, so going through sort of manufacturing and development. So that is Living Farms. And Marbotic, so I'll take this one as well. So this was this is Camille, who's the CMO for Marbotic. She was also part of the first iteration of the club. So Marbodica, also based in France, like Kim is, and they were founded in 2012 as tech lovers and educational experts. And they created a learning experience mixing traditional wooden toys with touch screen technology. And what they've done is developed a range of apps, obviously with kids in mind, with open-ended activities, sandbox spaces that they can sort of freely play and experiment with themselves. So it's very kind of open-ended, non-prescriptive digital play. So we've moved on to Max Mind Power. So Nikki.
It's me.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey.
I'm Nikki. I'm Irish, but can you guys hear me actually?
Yes.
Oh, good. My microphone wasn't working on a meeting earlier, so I thought that my computer was completely toast. But we're based in London. We launched in January last year at London Toy Fair. So it's like a relatively new business, and we make mindfulness products for kids. And we also have a range of emotional kind of intelligence books too. So we've been running for about a year. We mainly sell like direct to consumer and to retailers. But then we kind of had a lot of interest from schools and different organizations. So we kind of branched out into that. However, this year we've taken a bit of a step back. At the beginning of this year, we got investment from an animation company. So we're looking at making it into an animated series for TV, and then doing a whole new range of like the plush is being redesigned. We've got a whole new book series and an app which is going to be finished in 4 weeks, which is really cool. And we have like our plush range now is about 33 plushes, so it's really, really big, which is exciting. So we're launching it at London Toy Fair and New York Toy Fair in January, which is really cool. And that's I had the fortunate pleasure of meeting Ben when I launched, wasn't it? I think so.
I think we met when you were at that sleep.
Oh my god, that awful show, the sleep show. Myself and Ben met at a terrible show. He was the only attendee, and I was there trying to make a living. It wasn't going very well for me, but then luckily we got chatting about how awful the toy industry is, and what a complete outsider I am. And then he was like, "It's fine, I'll be your friend." So when he told me that he was doing this in January, I was so excited, because I feel like the best things that have happened to me and why my business is in the place where it is because when you make connections, you share information and contacts. And it's I found out that the toy industry is kind of a funny place. It's like it's more about who you know than what you know and how good your product is, which I think is very sad. So I kind of feel like Ben is changing that, and it's cool that we are kind of going to be a part of it, you know?
Cool. Thank you, Nikki. And thank you for reminding me about that awful show. I was only accompanying my wife, who works in the sleep industry. Yeah.
Sure. She told me she was only accompanying you.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Okay, so that's Moloch. So this is Alex, who I don't believe is on the call. So some of you may be familiar with Moloch. They sort of, I would say, they've been around for quite a number of years. So maybe they don't. It depends what you define as a startup. But I know Alex, it's been really important to remain a small business, and it's him and his sister, based in Switzerland, and sort of it's very much about being a design-driven company. So they strive for innovation and very sort of clear values on sort of sustainable products that don't just entertain kids, that are sort of on a superficial level, but invite real interaction. So for them, in time where everything is getting more virtual and digital, so Moloch offers toys that are totally manual, toys that get children to move and explore, and toys that stimulate their senses and minds. So one of the key values for them is that there are no sort of on and off switches, batteries, or complicated instructions. That it's very sort of abstract and open-ended, and the kid truly interprets the toy as they see fit. So it's very driven about being very non-prescriptive. And sort of Alex, I'm hoping to also get Alex to do some of the sessions. He doesn't know it yet. He's not here to say no, but I'm hoping to get him also to come and sort of be I guess, a little bit of an advisor as well, because he's sort of, as I mentioned, he's been in the industry for a number of years. He's built his business over time through distributors, and he's got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge that I've found really invaluable when I've spoken to him. So hopefully he'll be open to doing some kind of expert webinar sessions with you guys. The next one is My Family Builders. Do we have Easy on the line?
Yeah, sorry I was late, guys.
Hey, Easy.
Actually, I got a confusion, so I'm in the car. I just realized, oh no, actually my calendar made a mess. So sorry. Yeah, hi. I'm sorry, Ben.
No worries, no worries.
So I found the company around 4 years ago. The idea behind My Family Builders is to create conversation starters in the form of toys for children and parents to be able to talk about family diversity and diversity in general. I found that there's no toys that represent families, or most of the time people that are not white, and basically, if not the family, it's always the mom, the dad, the boy, and the girl. They're all blonde, blue eyes, and perfect Aryan world, which we don't live in. And then, the idea was to introduce a bit more of like, build your own family, who you are, see yourself represented. And also for parents, I found that a lot of parents don't know how to start these conversations at the very early age. It's a bit challenging for them. So the idea was to create a toy that helped them. In the beginning, when I started 4 years ago, I thought it was direct to consumer or consumer like oriented product. And I learned around the first year that basically the educational world was way more mature to understand what we were doing and basically create curriculum around it. And since then, I would say 90% of our basically business is oriented towards like educational. So we retail mainly to either at a state level for feeling like, I don't know, Texas school head starters, or for private schools here in the US. We have a partnership with good friends in France that we distribute the products, and we co-created a new game also that they call a Piki, and I think some people here also are friends from them. Honestly, I wished more toys had that representation, and there's not a need for a company that just focus on that. It would be great that basically other companies start representing all the variety of families and people that are around, and not always like by default put this white kid or this white mom or whatever. It will be great that basically I don't exist as a company. That will be basically probably like the best like kind of like ambition that I have for all this. Yep. And then I work in the toy industry as well. I met Ben a long time ago through a friend that we have in common, that is Ilana. I don't know if she's in the call or not. She was very nice to introduce us, and we kind of like each other. He also wanted to be my friend. He said, "You're weird, I'm weird. Okay, we're gonna be friends." And since then, here we are.
Thank you, Easy. Are you commuting to work right now?
No, I'm actually, my son had a tantrum.
Oh, okay.
3.5 years old, and basically, I don't know. Yeah. So I had a huge like, please, let's go.
Okay. All
So
right.
sorry.
All right. No worries. Good luck with the tantrum. Cool. So I'll do Muro. So Jeremy, unfortunately, can't make the call. Actually, randomly bumped into him this week. He's based here in London, and what he's developed is the world's one and only modular busy board. So it's a play platform for you to create amazing playing spaces for your kids, and that grow as quickly as they do, and encourage developmental skills through play. The secret to the product is this idea of a two-part plug and play system that consists of the plug and the hole that allow any of the toys to be connected to any part of the board or the cube, so simply by pressing them in. So he's created this kind of modular play system. I know I met Jeremy at London Toy Fair a couple of years ago, I think now, and it's a beautiful product that he manufactures over in Thailand, I believe, but it's a beautiful product. So I will move on. Panjango. Do we have John on the call? No. Okay. So Panjango. So I actually saw this product at the Nuremberg Toy Fair this year, and absolutely loved it. So John's based in Sheffield here in the UK, and what they've done is they're on a mission to transform the way that the world learns by gamifying learning and giving it a real world context. So what they've created are fun, educational and interactive games that connect learning to life and help children to think about their future and to better prepare them for life after school. The games are sort of family games or for the classroom, and the idea is to help children find their purpose and develop their skills for the future and sort of preparing them for the future of work. So again, I would love, hopefully John can join some of the future calls to tell you more about sort of the stuff he's doing, which is really interesting. And then we go to, do we have Miles? Is Miles on the call? No. Okay, so Robotical were also part of the first kind of version of the TPC, and they've developed, they're based in Scotland, and they've developed Marty the Robot, which is a powerful platform for learning designed to give kids a fun and hands-on experience with coding, robotics, and engineering. So Marty is a smart toy, but has the features of a real robot, and it's a robot designed to help teach coding to kids for the price of a smart toy. Marty comes as a kit or pre-built, so you can either choose the fun of building a robot or to jump straight into the playing and coding with your walking robot companion. The idea is that you can then program the Marty using Scratch or advance onto Python, JavaScript, etc. And I know from talking to Miles that obviously their focus is very much on educational, and they've been doing some amazing work out in Rwanda in Africa. And really getting Marty over there and into the school. So I think his story on how they've managed to achieve that is also one that I'd love him to be able to tell. And then Soundbops. So I know Michael unfortunately couldn't join today. So Michael is the founder of Soundbops. He also based up in Scotland. And Soundbops is an educational musical instrument that enables children as young as 3 to learn and play music. Soundbops reimagines musical play, combining an intelligent control surface with these color-coded blocks, or bops as they're known, and a printed guidebook. The system starts simply, taking children on a musical journey through colors, sounds, and songs, teaching them to play, learn, and love music. Having sort of used the prototype that Michael's got, it's a pretty cool product. The idea that you kind of you sort of layer on top these bops that also form notes to then sort of form chords. So it's a really inventive way of teaching music, and I know from discussions with Michael that he's been through that Kickstarter journey, which I know many of you guys have. So that's probably a topic for discussion one day as well. And he's in the process now of manufacturing and delivering that Kickstarter campaign. Studio Playful. So Dan and Suki, do you guys want to pick this up?
Yes. Hello, everyone. So I'm Dan.
Saki.
We're Studio Playful. We're based in Tokyo. Yes, it's like 1:30 a.m. here, so apologies for catching up yawning a bit. Yeah, so we're all about empowering people through play, and this is often through nurturing creativity through play. So, for example, the project you see here is called Nutty. So if you just switch to our camera, we have like a little version to show you. So new prototype actually.
There you go.
Yeah. Does that work? I'll lift it up. So it's a coding toy for kids age 3 to 6, and it's basically about engaging them to create through technology through basically the simplest means possible. So we have orange input blocks and turquoise output blocks. And to connect one to the other, you just simply tie a knot from the input to the output. So like this. And for example, claps. We'll see that. Yeah, so this is like a microphone block, and this is a motor. So we have like a whole variation of different like inputs and outputs. And yeah, it's just basically a very simple analog, intuitive way for kids to engage with technology. So that was kind of our initial project, and
We want to eventually make this project happen, but it's very expensive and high risk to make it real. We don't really know what we're doing. So instead, right now, we actually are developing a party game, which we're going to be using basically as a way to understand and practice the whole Kickstarter route, since very low risk, just paper. Yeah, it's a party game about like creating random characters using googly eyes, and then pitch them for various situations. We can send a link about it later. But yeah, we're going to kickstart this next month, and we'll be exhibiting it in Germany actually next month as well, hopefully.
Cool.
In terms of like what we want to get out of the community, so in Tokyo, there basically isn't really a startup community at all, let alone a toy startup community. So just having like any form of outlet to engage and talk with people in a similar position with us to like share experiences and ask questions is like incredibly valuable for us. So we look forward to like sharing advice, experiences, and our woes.
Cool. Thank you guys, and massive kudos for being up. It's amazing. I'm in awe. Cool. Let me just go back to. Cool. Okay. So Tinker. So this is Yuting, who again was one of the original members of the club, and they developed Octobo, again going through the whole Kickstarter route, and I know they're in that process of delivering that Kickstarter. And Octobo is the first smart plush that learns to grow with your child. It'll be your child's favourite learning companion that enhances a new pattern of play through multimedia engagement, transforming mindless screen time into meaningful active play. And the idea is that Octobo is a companion that grows and plays with kids through a tablet, interactive storybooks, and an expanding constellation of educational apps. They've identified that research echoes that the ancient wisdom in confirming that an emotionally rich, playful, and self-directed learning experience leads to better results than the classical pedagogy many of us grew up with and disliked. So by immersing children in storytelling world of sight, sounds, physical objects, and interaction, Octobo engages a child's mind, body, and heart in a full sensor motor experience. So the plush has internal built sensors that interact with your child whilst you're going through these kind of reading experiences. And as I said, there, I know from talking from Yuting, who US based, that they are in that process now of delivering this the product. Toy box. So Ben, do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm Ben. Sorry if it looks like I just woke up, because I did. So we make Toy Box, and it's good. So I was originally a part of the original Toy Pioneers thing that we did, last year-ish. So it's good to see some familiar faces, and even better to see some new faces. We create Toy Box, which is essentially a 3D printer and creativity platform all bundled in one. And we just make it as easy as possible for kids to be able to, one, find their own toys, and two, design their own toys and print them right at home. So essentially, you just buy this, you plug it in the wall, and then you connect to the internet. And from there, just from our web app or our phone app, you can do whatever you want, design your own toys, find your own toys, print them. It's been a pretty interesting journey. I think I'm excited about Toy Pioneers Club just because we're in a hyper competitive space, and it's really great hearing people's honest journeys throughout the process. I think everyone gets to success in very different ways, and just being able to learn from each other's experiences and making sure we don't fall in the same failures that everyone else does is incredibly valuable. So that's what I'm most excited about. I think in the past it's been really great because everyone's perfectly honest with each other within these calls. Whereas I feel like, when you go out in the wild and you're talking to people, everyone kind of puts up a front with their company. So you never hear all the pain that people have to go through, and I think it's pretty important to talk about that stuff and learn from each other. So that's Toybox, and that's my company. I'm really excited to get started with this.
Cool, thank you, Ben. And I think you were on. You went through the whole Shark Tank experience as well, no?
Yeah, so we were on Shark Tank. That was a very interesting experience. I don't know if anyone else is interested in going on that show. Typically, like, toys are actually a pretty good product to go on the show with, just because so many people relate to it and the story is pretty good. If any of you do start going through that process, I know a lot of people that can advise you on the right way to get there. We had someone that was like one of the first people that bought our product that has like advised like 7 or 8 companies, and all she does is just give advice on how to get on the show. She's pretty good at it. So there's like an 8-step process, and you have to be funny at some parts. You have to, be serious at other parts. So we're lucky that she helped us out. She's helped out a lot of companies. So cool. If you guys go through that process, just let me know.
Cool. I think that's what's great is that everyone's got such diverse experience, which I'm sure everybody's got some knowledge that everyone can utilize, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So Toy.
Yeah. Hello everyone. That's us.
Hey, okay.
I'm Ogedai, but you can call Oged. Toy is we define Toy as a play kit, and you can use it to transform basically everyday objects into toys, or kind of like what we imagine. The idea behind it was that we want to actually reach the disadvantaged kids that they don't have toys. So we thought that if we can maybe give some kind of like enabler, they can use their environment to express their creativity. So that was the idea behind of it. We are working on Toy for like 2 years. We launched Toy with the Kickstarter, and we were at the Nürnberg Spielewarenmesse next year, and we met Ben before our Kickstarter campaign because we wanted to get a feedback from him. So that's our story. Actually, the first time I saw the club is initiating, I was really excited because it was challenging for us. In Turkey, we don't have so many toy startups, and the only experts or people to go to take an advice is like the whole mass retailers, etc. So they kind of like giving advice is like be like the LOL surprise. Why don't you do that? So it was kind of like depressing, and you are feeling lonely, etc. So we really try to learn everything on our own. So it's kind of like good news to share our what we learn and maybe contribute in some way. Also listen to other people's stories. So really excited about it.
Cool. Thank you, Ode. Cool. Okay, so this is 21 Toys. So this was Ilana, whose name's been mentioned a few times on this call. She's actually unable to join because they're in the process of, I think she's in the middle of literally kickstarting her new product, which is around teaching failure. So 21 Toys teaches 21st century skills, and they launched originally with a toy that teaches empathy. And for them, building empathy, resilience, and creativity is easier said than done. And these challenging 21st century skills require self-awareness, vulnerability, and lots of practice. And that's where the toys come in. So this was designed for 6 to she's stated it's from 6 to CEO. So I know Ilana in 21 Toys, it's not, what's really interesting about their business model is it's actually taking toys into the corporate environment and using them as learning aids for within business, which is really interesting. And she developed these wooden toys that are sort of beautifully designed and allows complexities of the players to take the center stage. And then they reveals the unique ways that they each communicate and collaborate and solve problems with each other. So yeah, again, Ilana, I think, has got a really interesting story to share in the future when she joins. And then almost finally, we have Vaikai. This is Justina. So some of you may be familiar with Vaikai. So Vaikai is a wooden doll that supports cognitive and emotional development through connected play. The doll communicates gently with sounds and light when held in the hands. It's a very tactile experience, and Vaikai responds. Oh, so,
I'll be around for a wee bit longer. Yeah.
Can someone just go on mute? Sorry. Sorry, so I can hear.
I'll be on this phone for like 6.
So Vaikai responds to motions, and you can feel the heart beating from the actual wooden body. The dolls are inspired by the way that children use toys, and like sort of little characters really. They get excited while flying, they giggle while dancing, they snore when they're being put to bed. And the idea is that it embodies a personal little character that sparks imagination and gives opportunity to invent different games. You play with both of them, and you can play hide and seek, stories, treasure hunts, etc. And I think from my understanding, Vaikai just also did the whole Kickstarter thing. So I kind of feel like from this it might be a good topic to have a discussion around at some point. That's Vaikai, and then finally, just to talk about Yotto. So a bit of a disclaimer here. So some of you may know that actually over the past months I've been actually contracting with Yotto, and as of this month I'm actually an employee of Yotto. So as well as being TPC, I will also be representing Yotto. I'm not sure if Ben's on the call as well. He's the CEO and the founder. But just tell you a little bit about Yotto. So Yotto is an audio player for kids that offers a safe library of audio content and titles. So, for example, music, stories, educational, radio, podcasts. It's Wi-Fi connected, and you play the content through these cards, these NFC cards. And it has a really simplistic little pixel display that works with the cards. So that allows for some sort of really nice, simplistic sort of visual content, and it's initially targeting around the 3+, but the age will kind of develop as the level of content develops. I guess it's double-edged. Why are you interested in being part of the community? Obviously, it's I think on a personal level, for me, as I said when I started, was this part of the community is also about being able to engage and network with other like-minded people. And I know Ben and Tom, who's a couple of the initial founders of Yotto, also share that, and hopefully they'll be able to join some of the calls as well. They went through sort of Kickstarter a few years ago as well with the version that you see here, and now looking to kind of like build and scale up. So that is actually everyone, which is amazing. Oh, hey Miles, saw your face. I've already done a bit of a spiel for you, so I've saved you. So you joined at a good time.
Thank you. Sorry, as usual, I'm kind of flying about a bit a bit late, but good to say hello to everyone anyway.
No worries, mate. So actually, timing is good as well. So I guess kind of wraps it up, really. I guess in terms of next steps, what I really want to do is I'm going to tidy up the Slack channel and get invites out to everybody, so we can get everybody on that. And then I will aim to get something out over the next sort of week, which will be the sort of first initial newsletter, and also there with some sort of dates, with some further meetups, and hopefully I can announce a couple of people to come and do some webinars and get everybody to sign up, so we can kind of continue the conversation. And yeah, if you have, and in between now and then, if anything's come from this and you've made you think, or there's things that you didn't understand before, then please do ping me an email, and I'm happy to have sort of one-to-one calls and just sort of continue the conversations. Really, obviously the website's up now. If you haven't looked, there's an FAQ section that hopefully I've answered some questions. There's an application now, so the idea is that over time other members and startups will apply and join. It's at the moment, and I see it foregoing. It's a free membership, but there's a bit of a criteria to get involved. It's very important for me, and hopefully for everybody, that to me it's always been around people. So it's about getting the right people with the right values, and then let's see where it goes, and let's hopefully this thing grows and everybody benefits. that is it. With 3 minutes to go.